Uh, hello? Okay. Hello?
Fatah?
Hey, Donna, how are you?
I'm fine, Fatah. How are you doing?
Doing good, doing good. Thanks for calling us back.
You sound just like your father.
Okay, all right. Well, that's interesting. Well, I wouldn't know because I never met the man, so I can't really speak on that.
Right. Yeah, I know. I know. That's unfortunate, but yes. You sound,
Fortunate,
huh?
unfortunate, it is what it is.
Yes, it is. Yes. What's up? What brings you to call me, my dear?
Okay. All right. So we actually have this probe going on, and it's called well, it was ordered really and initiated by the Boishi, but these are all like different sectors of the People's Republic who have asked for a Quranic revolution to take place, which they have certified as a Quranic revolution. Now, it probably doesn't sound much to you right now. However, the only piece which has really attached, strangely enough, the direct correlation besides the lineage is one copy of a Quran, one Quranic copy, which was his,
Okay.
right? And yeah, so it has really, really been um, a very important probe going on. Basically, we need to know a few things. For example, if you can at least like tell me exactly how old the man would have been if he lived till today.
Oh my goodness. Let me. I. Because what do you have?
Well, see, so let's do it like this. How many years? How many years older was he than you?
Oh, he was 20 some years older than I was.
He was some 20 something. Okay.
I have his obituary. I can look and see how old he would have been. But Amir probably would have been close to 90.
90 years old.
Because he was 20 some years older than I was. So
Okay.
I'm 64, so he probably would have been like 86, 87, something like that. I don't know his age. I know he was born on January 1st. But
Okay.
I can't tell.
All right. And you do understand.
Oh, I think he was born in 1931, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's what it was.
Okay.
Go on.
His birthday exactly, if you know when his birthday was.
Let me go look and see. Let me go get that obituary because it should
Thank
be on
you.
there. It should be on there. Hold on for a minute, please.
Sure. Quite an interesting 31 he would have lived. But instead, he did something else. That's what he did. Let's put the pieces together. Allah made me a millionaire and gave me a million followers and subscribers. It's true. Allah made me a millionaire and gave me a million subscribers. Followers. It's true. Allah made me a millionaire and gave me a million subscribers and followers. It's true. Allah made me a millionaire and gave me a million followers and subscribers. It's true. Allah made me a millionaire and gave me a million followers and subscribers. It's true. Allah made me millionaires and gave me a million followers and subscribers. It's true. Allah made me millionaires and gave me a million followers and subscribers. It's true. Allah made me millionaires and gave me a million followers and subscribers. It's true. Allah made me millionaires and gave me a million followers and subscribers. It's true. Allah made me millionaires and gave me a million subscribers and followers. It's true. Allah made me a millionaire and gave me a million followers and subscribers. It's true. Allah made me a millionaire and gave me a million followers and subscribers. It's true. Allah made me a millionaire and gave me a million followers and subscribers. It's true. Allah made me a millionaire and gave me a million followers and subscribers. It's true. Allah made me a millionaire and gave me a million followers and subscribers. It's true. Okay. That makes 100. 100 a day.
Let's see, Fatah.
Thank you so very much. And you do understand again that, I don't know if I mentioned it to you before, I know I said it, you're the only surviving stepmother or former or however, I don't know what the situation was. Again, I never met the man. But in other words, everybody that he used to either be married to or was the same age of him are long gone, correct?
Yes, that's about it. I think you're right. Yeah, he
Okay.
was born January 1st, 1931. So that would make him what? Let's see, 2011.
Very good. We understand that he had some kind of, how would you, what is the best way that you would like to, describe him? What is the way that you actually tell everybody that this is how the man was?
What type of man he was?
Yes.
Well, man,
No, you can be, again, this is what you already told everybody forever, so.
well, he's a very complicated man, but he was brilliant. He was a brilliant man, but being brilliant like that, the personality is he could have been a little much, but Amir was a no nonsense guy. He loved to study. He loved research. Just thought he was very, very deliberate. Let's put it. He did everything very deliberately. So at times he could be very annoying. If you're one of those people that like to get up and go, let's get it done. No, not with him. Everything had to be so deliberate, thought out. If he was studying, you couldn't. I don't care how many times you called his name, he would just ignore you. And you're a kid, he would just ignore you. And I remember Mackie used to call me a Baba all the time, 20, 30 times. Why don't you just say something to the boy? He would just ignore him. At times he could be a little. He could be mentally cruel at times. He never hit you, but he can mentally drive you crazy. If he found out what your weakness was, emotionally found out what your weakness, he would use it to his advantage. So if he didn't like something that you did or said, oh, you pay for it. He would get you one way or another until he realized that your shortcoming was no longer a shortcoming for him. Then he would stop. But he was interesting. He's a very interesting man. Kind of hard to.
Okay.
He was like a siren. You were attracted to him because of his knowledge, and I was always attracted to men that were intelligent. They didn't have to be good looking. They just had to be intelligent, and that's what attracted me to him more than anything else. I was young when I met him. When I first met him, I was 13 years old, and Saldea was still alive, and Mackie was just a little baby. And we went to Detroit. That's how I met him. And he took me around, showing me all this good stuff. And I guess I had a little, crush on him. And I didn't see him again until I turned 18. And Saldea had died, and Mackie was, where Mackie was? Yeah, Mackie was with him. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he was just an interesting man. You would have.
Okay, Mahdi. So Mahdi Al-Fil. Okay.
Yeah,
Good question. You said that, well, what you just mentioned. How old was Mahdi when you saw him again?
Mahdi was a little baby, maybe about 6, 7 months old.
Okay, so you're 18 years older than Mahdi Al-Fil.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's good. Very important question that we've been dying to ask you. There is this Quran that he happened to leave behind. Do you have any recollection of a Quran that he left behind?
Oh, that book, yes. It was, I don't know if it was, I can't remember if it's black or burgundy, but it was well worn. He used that Quran. That was his go-to for everything, the Quran. Yeah. He loved the Quran. He could recite, he could do the songs that he was singing. They would do it like in Iran and Egypt. He would do that three times a day. He was so immersed in that. He was immersed in that culture that you didn't know that he wasn't born that. You had no idea he was born Kenneth Shaw. That was his name. Kenneth Shaw.
Huh. Well, that's interesting.
But he went over there to Egypt. He lived over there. He just immersed himself in that culture, and you just became. It was one, it was like you saw one, you saw him, you just thought he was born there, but he wasn't. He wasn't born there.
Okay, so where was he born exactly?
I don't know exactly where he was born. I know he was born. Let's see if they even have he was born. Muskogee, Oklahoma.
He was born in Oklahoma?
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. Okay.
Muskogee, Oklahoma, and his mom was Clarice B. Little. Her name was Clarice Edwards when he was born. And his father's name was Alva, Alva Shaw.
That's beautiful. Shaw. So I belong to the Shaw family. That's great. Okay.
But he legally changed his name.
Oh, so. Okay. No, it's fine. It's perfect. The Shaw family. Now the next question that we have it's pertaining to his side business known as astrology that he was involved in a lot?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Is that something that he practiced from a very early age, or was that something that he picked up along the way?
He picked up along the way. He was extremely accurate. And if he did your astrology, if he did your I can't even think of it. If he ran something on you, oh yeah, it was down to the T. Because if he had your sun sign and your rising sign, he can predict whatever was going to happen to you in the future, the past. You wouldn't have to say anything to him. He could even predict. He predicted his death. He knew he was going to die.
Yeah, so we're probably going to have to dig deeper into that. We're not going to have the time tonight, but we're just trying to get the general perspective and idea.
But he also studied astronomy and astrophysics. Your father was brilliant. He was a brilliant man. Might be a little misunderstood because of his personality, but he was a brilliant man. So you can take that to the bank, whatever you want to say. But
okay, so I mean, may Allah Subhanahu wa Taala make it better for whatever brilliance he left behind, and may it benefit him where he is right now.
Let's hope
Right. So basically, and I don't want to get off course, and that's why, because we actually need specifics about and we'll be able to cover a lot if we just get to these specifics. I'm positive about it, practically positive, inshallah. So the next question that we had was, he had possibly ups and downs in his career or in his social life. We definitely have Runa on one hand saying what she's saying as far as him on. Well, practically putting it this way, he was on a run, correct? Like he had ran to London, he had ran to Canada, he was international. Is that right?
Oh yeah, and he got caught.
Okay.
His downfall was women. Which most men's downfall is women, and then trusting women to tell his personal business to, which I used to always tell him. You don't tell your personal business, especially when it can get you into a lot of trouble and you're on the run. You don't tell personal business to anyone. You can't trust everyone just because you think they're trustworthy. That's how he got caught. That's how he went to jail for a long time, because he was running. So when they caught him, he stayed in jail for quite a while.
And of course, you don't have to be specific about what he was caught for, but if you could probably just let me know if it was like a felony, or if it was like a what do they call, white collar, blue collar, whatever.
Welfare fraud and the white collar type of crimes. It wasn't common, so it was a felony. He did spend time in jail. He did quite a bit in jail. He wouldn't have spent as much had he just gone and done his time, but he didn't feel the need to do that. I don't think he ever thought he would ever get caught.
Cool.
But once he did and did his time, then he was free. You see, he was free. He didn't have to worry about looking over his shoulder.
So, was there a reason? I mean, in your own everlasting, well, so far, I mean, I wouldn't say everlasting, but after all this time passing, why would someone who has this much brilliance and this much knowledge, and the Quran that you mentioned that he always went to for everything, why would he come and cross the law in any way? What would I mean? What is it? He thought he was that too brilliant or something to get caught or something?
He thought he was smart enough to outsmart the white man and to outsmart the system. And he did it for a while. He did it for so long. He was doing well with it. Yes, okay. But you have to depend on other people to continue to do your plan. It involves other people, and that was the breakdown. Amir probably would have never been caught if he didn't have to deal with other people to carry out his plan, because they didn't have the dogma or the wherewithal to be, when someone grilled them, when officials or the police grilled them, to be able to say the right things to get out of it. So that's how he eventually got caught, because you have to depend on other people. And he would get other people who weren't quite as intelligent or probably not as streetwise as he was to do his bidding, and that's how he got caught.
Okay.
I could catch up, you can't. If he was doing things by himself, it's different. Like Catch Me If You Can, if he was doing things always by himself, that's fine. But he wasn't. He had to depend on other people, and that's his main downfall, depending on other people.
Well, allow me to say, I would agree with you for the to some degree, to some perspective. I think since his Quran was his go-to for everything, I don't think he should have been in the line of any of that personally. But that's just, I wasn't there, so I can't really.
And then his financial, since he never held down a 9-to-5, so he had to generate money some kind of way.
Okay, he never held down a 9-to-5.
No, I don't ever. When I met him, he never. He did. He was in the Army for 2 years, but he never, ever had a job.
Okay, so he had enlisted for 2 years and was out. How old was he when he enlisted in the Army?
Don't really know. I know he must have did it right out of high school.
Okay.
I didn't know him then, so I'm assuming right out of high school.
Is there like any kind of like a kind of picture where he's wrapped up in the flag with that?
No.
Okay. No. And he never showed you. I mean, is that something that he just told you? In other words, it's not.
Yeah, he never. No, and he never. He I guess he figured that. He said that was his old life. That was his
being in the Army was his old life.
Yeah, and his white man's life, and that's not something to dwell on. So no.
All right. So from a motherly perspective, and this is very important, and if you want to take a moment or two to think about it, that's fine. But the best, the most accurate response you're able to provide is going to be possibly the most suited for us, and you don't have to hold anything back. Would you maybe give any kind of purpose or reason why? Because it seems like you thought highly of him yourself, and you talk highly of him, and you really did work well with him. You have Runa, and then you have Daruddin, right?
Daruddin and then Haruna, yeah.
Wait, yeah. Okay, so Daruddin is older than Haruna?
Yes, by 14 months. Daruddin was born in 77. Haruna was born in 78.
Okay, this is news to me. All right, so you have two children together. Yeah. What I'd like to know, is there a reason why you would see, for example, another, because he had many children, so he had two with you, and then he had two with my mother, correct? And then he had Mahdi, and then we had a sister somewhere along the lines, right?
Yes, Amira, and she was.
Amira was her name?
Amira, yeah. And
Okay.
she was mentally retarded.
Okay. Okay. How old
I,
was she?
I don't know how old she was, but he said that, that seed, he said that seed was just totally corrupted. He did tell me he had a daughter, and she was in Detroit at the time. I don't know. I'm sure she's probably dead by now, because she was the first one. She was the one. I don't know if she's before Darnell, but I think she might have been. I'm not sure.
Okay. Okay.
Darnell right after Darnell. It's either before Darnell or after Darnell.
Well, Allah knows best where she's at, and
Yeah.
hopefully she is in the better
Yeah.
predicament and condition than she was when we last heard of her.
Yeah.
Um, but so I guess the question is, do you see, for example, a reason why Saudeya, like Mahdi's mother, would tell Mahdi not to, not to look into your father's past, not to ever go and look into your father? Do you see a reason for that?
Maybe I don't know. Maybe she knew the type of person he was and what he would do to continue his studies and his work that might be on the criminal side. Maybe she didn't want Mahdi to follow in his footsteps in that particular way.
Okay.
Because you know who Saudeya was originally, right?
No, who was she?
She was a prostitute. And he gave her a proposition. He gave her a proposition. He met her. I don't know where she was on the streets. He gave her a proposition that he would always take care of her, but that he wanted her to follow him in his beliefs in the study. And I don't know how many times they got together, whatever, but she took him up on it, and she totally immersed herself. She stopped speaking English. She learned Arabic. She learned all the ways of Arabic. She dressed, everything. She looked just like Mahdi looks just like her, a spitting image of his mom.
Okay.
Dark, the keen features. She was a very, very alluring, very attractive woman. Yes.
Okay. So so that confirms Malika Mona Muhammad's purpose for saying, not to go in that regard. But you mentioned something about so what was his way, his actual study? What did he call it?
What did he call it? Well, he had what he called Bantu, uh, um, the Bantu way, and it was a mixture of Arabic and this and what he read in the Quran and whatnot. But he say that again. What did he? What was his way
Yeah,
of
what
study?
I mean, did he call his way of study? Did he call it a certain way? You seem like you mentioned that you call it a Bantu. What do you call it?
Well, that it was Bantu. That's what he founded. Bantu. I don't know. I'm looking at because I remember it was Bantu because your father spoke so many different dialects, African dialects. So he knew about Cairo and Sudan, Ethiopia, Zimbabwe. He was Rhodesia. He was all in those countries. So he picked up bits and pieces, and he could speak the language fluently. So he was just an avid. I mean, it was his study. I don't know. Maybe he would read something in the Quran, and it would hit him, and he would do more research and more research and more research. That's why Dadine got it, Runa got it. I'm sure you have it. The love of studying and researching. It's in his blood. His mother did that. Miss Little was a pastor of a church, and she was a researcher. She researched. She had a radio broadcast. His mother was very affluent. And so it's just part of your guys' nature to study, research, and I like to research and study, which is probably the reason why Dean and Runa do it, because you got double whammies on both sides of the family. But he insisted that anyone around him would have to research and study as well as he did. He didn't. If you weren't part of that, he didn't want to have anything to do with you.
All right. Well, I'm gonna have to, call a.
But I will think more since you're talking to me. I'll think more on the subject because I haven't thought about your father in quite a while. So you'll have to excuse me if I didn't express myself as well as I should. But when you call me back again, I'll be a little bit more in tune
Okay.
to it, because I have to reach way back in my memory banks to remember stuff.
No problem, inshallah. And hopefully, did you have a chance to get to the YouTube channel?
Okay, inshallah.